Oh, look at that. OBS switched my desktop on me. Let's fix that. Hey, Aaron. There we go. I find like OBS is the like I love open source, but then there are days where I get frustrated by it. It's like uh all of the crashing of OBS recently. So hopefully I will have a fix for that though. I've been having this weird craziness with trying to use more than one camera, especially when I'm doing embedded things and OBS is crashing. So I just ordered a video capture card for my tower so that I can just run HDMI directly in and not have to do the USB thing, which would leave me my webcam and that. Although I think I'm going to switch my webcam out to an actual camera that I have too. Okay, so where do we leave off? We had our bot running, and our bot allowed us to do some silly voice changing. But it's really kind of like this just cobbled together mess while we were experimenting with all of these different libraries that we're going to use. So I think what I want to do today is to start actually organizing this. Like let's get a real GoMod file in here before Aaron kills me, or and let's like start abstracting this out maybe into some sub packages here. Aaron's laughing. So we'll get some of this running in some sub packages. Like let's start that now. So let's create a folder in here and we'll call it OBS, and we'll use this. Nope, we don't want it inside there. We want it at the top level. Move. Okay, so and then we'll use this OBS directory to manage all of the commands that mess with OBS. So we had one where we could change the scene. We had another we set up to change voices and whatnot. So let's abstract all of this up into our own OBS library. And then, yeah. We'll start there. Well, let's start with the GoMod. But first, I think we need to have some fun. And does anybody want to play with the voice changer before we break it? Let's see. Oh, I'm in the wrong folder. There we go. Okay, so in the chat, you can type !deep, high pitch, or robot. And then this should start changing my voice. I was going to do it to seed it, but I have something in here that's ignoring my own name. So one of you get the honor of changing my voice. No takers? Ooh, why did we crash? Oh, our WebSocket timed out. We didn't even connect to it. Let's see. We're going to open our WebSocket connection here. Let's see. Let's just change it to a different port really quick. And see if we can connect. Connecting. Oh, it's still trying to connect to 443. Let's... Oh. I almost opened the file that has this in there without doing that. Oh, wait, never mind. Okay, let's... That bridge may actually be different. No. I know I set up firewall rules. And did the bridge port change? All right, let me pull this up just because inside the environment file that I have this little nifty piece of code here, there is my key for getting into Twitch. And OBS socket. Okay. Oh, and Aaron, you wanted the command that I was using to get my bridge to the host. That is the command you want to run. So that looks like what the issue is here. Is it looks like that host bridge changed its IP address. So really, let me do this real quick. I'm just going to put this IP address in this environment file, OBS. We'll call it host. Okay. Dir env allow. And now we have a OBS host here. We're going to use this environment variable so that anytime I cd into this directory, it's going to run that pass command I had here, grab what my Windows host is. This is because right now this application is running inside of WSL, and we're trying to connect to a port for OBS, which is running inside Windows. So let's change this here. And then that shouldn't break anymore. We need os.getenv OBS host. Why are you not connecting? Oh, I forgot to take down the secrets. So we have an issue with OBS. Let's see. Yeah, we're timing out. So let's just change this to a different port altogether. It hasn't yelled at me yet. There we go. So for whatever reason, I'm guessing that the port that I was using before was never freed. So I'm going to have to look into that because that is not good. Oh, thanks for the follow, lucky number 7. So I've been playing with the idea of using dir env to set a handful of bash helper functions when I enter particular directory. Been doing manually recent. Would you be able to bump that size a little bit? Readability. Yeah. You swear you followed me the other day? I don't know. Well, I mean, you rated the other day. I don't know whether you followed, but I'm happy for the follow now. So let's see. Where's my settings? Settings. Preferences. There we go. I hate not being able to find my way around places, but I've been trying really hard to use VS Code. As every now and again, I like to try and switch up what I'm doing and not get stuck too much in what I'm using. Let me know if that's good for the font size. Okay, so did anybody... Oh, so nobody's done it yet. So right now that we're connected to the OBS WebSocket, until I break this for our refactoring, right now you can send !deep high pitch robot, and this will activate a VST plugin that is controlling a VST plugin that's in
OBS. So right now I should be talking like a high
pitch robot. This is way too much fun. So I'm going to come up with a bunch of other things that we can do too with OBS. Maybe add some, give me a dunce hat or something. But for now, this is what we're starting with. And I think we should really refactor this a little bit. So we created this OBS here. I think for now, I'm going to put maybe call this filter.go because it's going to control all of our filters. The other thing I need to do is, did it change my voice? I didn't even look in OBS to see.
Am I talking with a really deep,
Funny voice right now? Maybe to lower on the switch because typing is hard, and yes, it changed it. Sweet. Oh, right. Yeah, on that switch statement, that's true. Let's, before we do that, command.command. So this is just where it processes it. So here is where we start actually determining what the command is. So here, I think, is where we want to do the string.
Is that too lower?
And let's only do that once. What am I doing here? Let's do parts. And we don't need that anymore. And okay. It worked high pitch. Oh, we're still going with the sound effects. All right. It's only going to work for a little while longer and then we're going to break it. So, yeah, we'll worry about the white space thing later. So this is just our functionality to handle our individual
commands. So right now, let's go ahead and
close this really quick. We're going to do a go mod init. I don't know, what do we want to call this? TwitchBot? We're in Go Twitch right now. I don't think I like that name, but we'll change it later. Okay, so now we have our Go mod file. Okay. The high pitch is definitely easier to understand than the deep. Oh yeah, without a doubt. Oh, that's the other thing we need to do too, because this is gonna break. So last time I was on Friday, we ended up discovering that this OBS WebSocket library that I decided to use inside main.go here, when we send it this new source filter visibility request, it took a string here, even though the format that the protocol specifies is Boolean. So the JSON was actually sending a string there instead of a real Boolean value. We just patched it in place. And so that's not going to work right now, because now that we're using this Go mod file, it's trying to go out and grab this very specific version of that, and that's not the modified one. So let's we'll just take a look at that really quick. So, and I'll demonstrate what we did. So what was it? Requests? I think that's what it was. Request.go. Filter visibility. No. Request sources. Okay. Well, I guess I can show you what we did here. So we can just do a... So it had this filter enabled JSON property as a string instead of a Boolean. So I think what we need to do first is go out and we'll fork this and contribute the patch. And then, oh, Aaron's off to stream too. Him and Jennifer are doing a beginner's go stream too, if anybody's interested. All right, so we need to go to github.com/Christopher. There we go. And let's reference the OBS WebSocket. There we go. I'm going to pull up the docs here because in the pull request, let's find the protocol and we'll reference that. Filter. Okay. We're going to want to link that. So fork. And I have entirely too many GitHub organizations, apparently. Okay, so let's go in here. We're going to copy that. Git. Add that as a remote. Ensure filter enabled is Boolean for, what was the name of that method? Filter, set filter visibility. Source visit. Wait. Oh, I wonder if we need to fix this on all of it. All right, quick vote. Do we want our stuff to work or do we want a solid patch where we change this for everything? Right, yeah. So this that we're looking at now is the protocol for the OBS WebSocket plugin that's installed into OBS itself. And we are patching this Go wrapper around that WebSocket library so that they are the same. Let's go ahead and, before we do this, let's look to see if we need to fix this anywhere else. It's the silver. I always forget this. The package name is not. Silver Searcher AG. Let's see if any of the others are broken. So bool, bool, bool. So it looks like everywhere else is correct. Do they have source filter visibility changed? That's just an event. Let's look at event. Oh, event sources. It's Boolean, so it was wrong only in one place. Okay, perfect. We don't have to fix any more stuff. All right. And this is, we want source visibility. All right. Sure, filter enabled is bool. Let's type bool for WebSocket call. Oh, I don't have any of my Git stuff in here. I recently redid WSL, so let's fix all this. Which means it's probably going to want me to authenticate. Why do I not have? A colleague recently forked Go's encoding JSON library to make some tweaks around lower allocations when decoding arbitrary JSON. I've never done that, but it was surprisingly straightforward. Oh, for like basically doing zero allocations. I can't type. Okay, that's me. Oh, this is probably gonna yell at me because I don't have an SSH key. Oh, I do. Weird. Okay, so git push Eric master. Oh wait, it was the commit that failed. Now we can push Eric master. Yeah, I mean, a lot of languages are self-hosted nowadays. Go was written in C. It was not that many releases ago that they moved to a self-hosted. But yeah, I do like it a lot more. It makes it a lot more approachable for people to jump in. All right, let's see. Pull request. And then we get to figure out how to fix it for our library, because the Go mod is going to want to pull in the version that's on GitHub and not our local version. So I don't think I've ever tried to do that, so that'll be interesting to figure out. Set source visibility requires filter enabled to be of type Boolean. Property is of type string. This call does not function as expected. Okay. Pull request. That's true, yeah. I can change it to use my fork for now, which is pushed up. We will just do that. I don't know why I wasn't thinking doing that to begin with. All right, so let's go in our Go mod file and actually we'll just take this out and then we'll go into our main and then change this to me. Okay, and then when it's live, then we'll be good. Now our Go mod file should be on about. What is this complaining about? Could not import Ericsson no package for. What do you mean no package? It's there. Well, let's just go get it. Go OBS web socket. And because we haven't actually, maybe if we want to be nice, we should actually go through and do the Go mod thing and version it for them. But for now, we'll just use this SHA version. Okay, so now we should be able to build this. And our Go mod file should get updated. Why not? Module declares its path. Ours is broken. So here's our issue. they have a go mod file here, and the path is declared here. So let's see, how do we get around that? I don't want to push up my own version of this. But was required as. This is actually a really interesting problem to try to solve. So typically in the go path approach, what I would normally do is pull my changes into my go path. So I'd have two remotes, I'd have their upstream, I'd have my upstream, and then I would pull my own changes down, but it would be inside my go path at their import path. That's how I normally would do something like this. But this creates an interesting problem because I don't really want to modify the module import path. So is there a way well, we are building yeah, so that's the thing I want to avoid doing. I don't want to change the go mod file because then I'd have to change the go mod file and push it up to my repo, and then they can't really merge their changes because I just submitted a pull request against main, so that change would come up and want to change their import path, and I don't really want to do that. So why is my go mod file not updating? Okay. You've seen what? Well, let's run this really quick because I want to see. Now let's see if this yells at me if I put it here. What happens if I do this? So this -a flag is basically having me rebuild everything. Go list modules. Okay, I'm confused now. Wait a second. I'm in the wrong directory. That's why that build wasn't failing. Requires module path. What was the version? All right. Does this help us? All right, hold on. Parsing go mod, module declares its path as, yeah, so that's going to yell at us. That's a crappy workflow. When should I use the replace directive? As described in the go mods concept, replace directive provides additional control in the top level go mod for what it actually used to satisfy a dependency found in the go source. Or replace directives in modules other than main module are ignored when building the main module. The replace directive allows you to supply another import path that might be another module located in GitHub or elsewhere, whether relative or absolute. The new import path from the replace directive is used without needing to update the import paths. So this is, so we could do this. That's right. So I don't know if we can do this. Let's try this. Wait. Yeah, it's just replace. When should I use this? Okay. So in theory, when we do this, that's going to go out and it's going to fail the build, but it's going to update our Go mod file. That's going to have this here. So in theory, we should be able to do a replace github.com/ChristopherDG, go OBS WebSocket. We want this to point to me. I don't know if this is going to work though. It's probably going to throw the same error. Is it going to force me to put a correct build on there? Replacement module without version. Where's my version? Here. We can try and point it at the local directory where we've also changed it. But let's see. Type Twitch has no method on. Wait a second. How do we manage to break it? For our local dev using our fix. Yeah, so we can point it at this public repo and we can also point it at local repo too. So this looks like it worked. However, line 89, our API just changed. So this tells me that we're now pulling in a different version of this because the current one is it's saying Twitch or client on private message. And we discovered this problem earlier when we were looking at, or Friday when we were looking at Go docs. There was a discrepancy between the docs we were looking at versus the actual project. Let's look, client on, let's just search on private message. Wait a second. Oh wait, no, this is a different library. It's not the same one that's yelling. This is the Twitch one that's yelling at us. So we've got Go Twitch IRC. That is our problem. What version is it trying to pull in? I don't think it's pulling in main. I think that's our problem. Is it's grabbing the latest actual pinned release, and we built ours based on the SHA. So what's our but that replace statement actually looks like it works, so that's progress. That's not what I wanted. What are we doing? GitHub Gimper. Oh, it's V2 I think that we were using. Okay. So we actually need to change this import path to V2. Okay, now we're building. We're all on Go modules. We're good. Okay. So next up, we submitted our patch. So we're good there. Now let's start moving this stuff over because ideally what I want to do is I want to clean up main here. I'd like to have something manage all of OBS, but I want to try to clean this up a little bit where we maybe move this stuff from process command where we've got like this toggle mic filter. Let's take this and we're going to move it into our OBS package. And then that's going to blow up on us. We're probably going to want to pass in this now. And what type was that? An OBS client. Cbro. Okay. Why are you yelling at me? Undeclared name. Oh, because we need to import this. Sorry for yelling. What part are we working on today? So yeah, so we spent a couple of days where we just prototyped out some of the, we started tinkering with what libraries we might use. We started kind of tinkering with what does the protocol to talk to OBS over the WebSocket look like. And so we kind of have like this just mess of experimental code. So what I'm trying to work on today is like to actually get this organized a little bit, and it'll be easier to work with. So the first thing we did was refactoring. So the first thing we did was today I learned OBS WebSocket. Yeah, so Cbro, were you in here when we got the filter working? If not, we'll turn it on and we'll have some fun for a second. So yeah, so the first thing we did is get go mod here so that we can actually have all of our modules and dependencies managed. The second thing we're going to do is abstract up all of this code here into this OBS library. I'm undecided if we're going to abstract up this Twitch stuff. The other thing I want to do is start pushing stuff here into this command directory, because I'd like to also talk to this using command line, saying go Twitch filter robot, right, on, off, something, right? That way we have the ability to communicate over these same things without just the chat. First time I've caught your stream. Okay, so this was a lot of fun. Friday, what we did was we installed a Go OBS WebSocket or a WebSocket plugin into OBS, which exposes basically everything over a WebSocket. Then we are writing a Go program that communicates with that so that we can do this. Ooh, undefined toggle mic filter. Oh, we moved it. We moved it. So we need to let's move this back really quick. So that we can show it off. And we want to all right, everybody, hit it. Am I talking like a robot?
I've had some ideas kicking around about a web-based UI for OBS, even if it's simplified.
Okay, so we're going to have a whole bunch of other stuff we're going to do. I'm going to do some scene switching where I'll set up like another camera in the room or things like that, and I'll allow people to switch cameras on me, add effects to my face and things like that. So that's going to be the end goal of this plugin. Well, the whole thing's going to be a bot. We're going to add all kinds of features to it. But right now I figured let's make it do something that nobody else's does. So toggle mic filter, we need this to be OBS. OBS toggle mic filter. Oh, and we need to pass in our WebSocket. Yes. Does anybody else have ideas for things you want me to do, either through OBS or other fun things we should have this bot do? Because we'll put together a to-do list. We need to import our package here. Go Twitch, and we want OBS. Okay. Undefined OBS. What you talking about? All right, so we have a package OBS. Why are you undefined? All right. Undefined type has no filter method new set. Okay, so this is one of our issues. We need to also import this. Oh wait, we already have that in there. What are we doing? Let's see. Where are we going wrong here? Main.go, line 39, undefined OBS toggle mic filter. Oh, we're not exporting it. You all are supposed to catch this. I do the failing miserably in public, and you all do the calling me on it. All right, so, and we shouldn't need to do that. Oh, what are we yelling at now? Not enough arguments and call to OBS toggle mic filter on line 51. What do we have going on here? Oh, we missed all of our, so there's like a timer to turn it off after a certain period of seconds. And we just missed doing this. Refactoring day. Okay, so we're building now. Let's think about this API a little bit. So this just toggles it on or off. You're hitting it. It's not on. I didn't start it, Rocker Boo. You're getting a little trigger happy here. OBS, no, OBS. Yeah, so there's a couple things I want to do. I walk in the room and drop the team. Oh. So there's a couple things I want to do. I want to create like a nice abstracted library for just the things we can do with OBS, right? So we might have toggle mic filter. We might have, we already had change scene, right? We'll implement that too. And then we can add, I need more deep in my life. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll implement things like this. Is there another layer of abstraction that we want to do? So right now, this turns it on or off. For my particular case, use case, okay. Decisions. So we can either keep passing in this OBS client to do things, or we can create a new type that's like our OBS helper, like Cbro just suggested, that we can pass in this client to. And it's really hard when we don't know where we're going with this yet. But one particular thing that I see here that is a problem is that I have the source name. I think abstracting away the WebSocket stuff would be good. Yeah. So I don't like this hard-coded microphone here too, because if anybody else is going to use this, that's not what their source name is going to be, which means we need to add another parameter here to pass the source that we want to toggle And then it's actually not a microphone at all. So let's do that. Let's do well, how else would this be defined but in WebSocket, another RPC? Well, so there's two separate things, right? So we have our WebSocket, which is the thing that we're sending the commands over, which is really just JSON. So in here, we have our connection to Twitch and our connection to the WebSocket. We're going to create them here, manage them here, right? Because all of the credentials and things would be passed into main. So I think it makes a lot of sense to create them here. However, I think that we want to organize code that does specific things. So the WebSocket is how we're going to communicate with OBS, but I think we want to abstract out the commands that we're going to be allowed to send out to OBS into its own thing. Because what we're effectively going to have is we're going to create the connection to Twitch. We come in here, we parse the message, we decide that it is a command. And then, so we decide it is a command, and then we want to execute that. So this is where we kind of spin it up in its own Go routine, and we say, go do that thing. We want that logic to kind of be based on things. So here is a thought. Everybody run with me here. So what if we had a init function here? We had an init function here, and then we had a command.register, right? And then we passed it commands or something. Because one thing that we have is inside this main.go right now, I have a list of commands here that are possible because we want to filter. We want to ignore it if it's not a command. But we kind of want to add these individual libraries that expose new commands. So we could have our packages register themselves and what commands they take. I think it'd be too much of a leaky abstraction, because what would happen is each individual command is going to have its own parameters. So that's not going to work. I think we're going to have to process this stuff. Yeah, I like the idea of the OBS stuff being its own thing too. The question just becomes what layer the abstraction exists at. Is that really just us telling OBS what to do? Or are we pushing all of the command processing, taking the chat message and deciding what it needs to do in OBS? The command linking being main, maybe you triggered off buttons or something. Right, so that's kind of the idea that I'm thinking is up here in this command directory, this is a Cobra setup here. And so I kind of like the idea of being able to run this myself and say, I don't know, filter deep or something, right? I like the idea of that, and then also this chat logic being able to loop and decide what to do. Okay, so yeah, let's go with that. And we can refactor a few times along the way too. Map the command to a function. Right, so that is another thing that we could do. And that was sort of my line of thinking when I was saying that this could just register itself. It would basically just populate this list of commands itself. However, the parameters to each command may be different. So if we look at our toggle mic filter, let's just say we could abstract this away. We still need to know what the source is, what the filter name is, and whether we're turning it on or off. And those types of things are going to be unique per command. So I don't think that we're going to be able to do it at that layer. I think that we're just going to have to abstract this away a little bit. So do we offer any value here is the question, because at the point now where we're like, this needs to be a command, it needs to be a property. So this is really the source name. And now source name comes up here. So at this point, now it's not a mic filter, right? So now it's toggle source filter. Is this different enough? Because we're also going to want to return an error, right? Is this different enough to make it worth abstracting, or do we just call the OBS WebSocket itself? You know, it makes sense. It does make sense when we're doing something like this, right? Where we're going to enable it and then we're going to toggle some sort of timer and then we're going to come back and disable it. It makes sense to create an abstraction here, right? So if we say we want to toggle it for some period of time, it would make sense here because it would do some additional logic. Is everybody following? So it's like the more I look at it, but I just feel like this needs to be organized somewhere because this is going to get really, really crazy. And there's so much duplicate code here. So let's do that. I don't know, let's call this type controller. It'll be an OBS controller. I don't know. So we need our OBS WebSocket. I guess we can call this client. And it is of type OBS WS client. And then let's do a func. New. And let's call out, I guess this we would need host import. And we would return back a pointer to a controller. I guess we'd want to return back an error too, because maybe what we'll do is connect here as well. So that would allow us to take our all of this. I guess we'd be doing the same thing. We would do something like a client error OBS new controller. I guess we could call this a client too. And then we would be passing it the same thing, right? os.getEnv. Just playing with this idea here. Oh, we need, what type is that? Let's just call it int for now. So I think we're going to have some similarities here between this client. However, the hope is that we'll create some more meaningful abstractions over the top of it. And I don't see why we can't just call this a client. And then I guess we can hide this library in here, and if we ever need to swap it out, then we will. So let's do that. We're going to let's see. Oh, we're gonna need to add a disconnect too. Yeah, I just feel like we're creating the same abstractions. I don't like doing that. So if we fail to connect, then we're going to return an error. We need to change this. Host, port, and I think that this is, I don't know. We'll call it int. It's going to blow up if it's not right anyway. And then we can just, if we make it to here, we'll return back our struct literal. Do I use Go at Microsoft? Yes, I actually do quite a bit of Go at Microsoft. I haven't been doing it as much recently because we had another project we were working on that was written in Rust. And the main reason for that was because the project is super tied to WebAssembly. And the hopes is that at some point we may be able to get it to run on native embedded devices without an operating system. I would keep it controller instead of client if you're going to put more into it. Yeah, I'm kind of back and forth with that because the idea of it is that this whole thing is going to somehow do that. Undeclared name control. Oh. No, I don't want it to be the same type because I might want to keep state here too. That's sort of the thought is there may be other state things that I want to keep here to know like what the current state of OBS is, or, you know, I may want to say, be able to, as an admin, disable all OBS interactions or something like that. So there may be some sort of state here we want to check first. Okay. Undefined client, line 14. Oh, because we changed that to controller. Cannot use host type int as type string in field value on line 15. Oh, that is because this is a string, not an int. I need to figure out a hotkey to switch back and forth between the terminal. I'm sure that there is one. I just haven't used this enough. Undefined port. All right, have controller, want controller error, missing return one end. Oh, no. Missing return at end of function on line 31. Oh, because we changed all this stuff up. Control tilde gets me there, right? Does it switch back? Yeah, that just pops it up and down. I want to be able to just shift focus so that I can leave it there. Okay, so here we're going to return the error. May have to set a key binding. Yeah, I'll have to go through and find that. I'm trying to make VS Code work. I'm mostly a Vim person, but I will admit there's a lot of cool extensions in VS Code, things like live share and settings sync, and there's all kinds of stuff in there that I find really cool. So I'm trying to use it more rather than just regular Vim. But there's certain things like that they're just odd. All right, so we have this toggle source. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so in this particular case, right, request, and we need to send it to our client. Okay, and this now needs to become a method on that type. And we're going to change this one too. we'll implement that later. That'll be the next thing. What are we linking to? Switch focus between editor and integrated terminal in Visual Studio. Control plus backtick. That's switching between them. Okay, so there we go. We should be able to just add this then. All right. Keyboard. All right, let's see if this works. Rin, route. Nice. Thanks, Xanis. That's awesome. Solves my problem. Perfect. And now the next one will be to maximize the terminal. Okay, so let's see. What do we got going on now? So let's remove this duration here. And I don't even know whether I like the word toggle now. Let's just call it enable. Naming is hard, and it should be enable source filter because it's only one. All right. So now we want what if we call this one maybe cycle? It's a good word for that. Not function key, sorry, just number. So I'm trying to think of like what's a good name for this function that will turn it on for some period of time and then turn it off. The change that you have to make to the OBS plugin, the bool versus string, did you end up forking it or trying to submit a pull request still running on your local build of it? So I did fork it, changed it in my own version that's on GitHub, submitted a pull request, and then what we ended up doing is in the go mod file, we specified this replace that says, yes, this is the one I'm importing, but when I say Christopher DG go WebSocket, what I really mean is my version. So activate would be the same thing as this enable. What I'm trying to do here is in this particular case, if we come in here and do this, we're going to turn it on and then we're going to wait some period of time and then turn it off. Right? So on, off. Do you want to maximize? Look at this. Everybody's solving all my VS Code problems. Then you could have a funct toggle timed. Wait. Controller, filter. I'm not sure what you're getting at here. So you're talking about creating a new toggle type? Is that my understanding? Control Shift 1. Actually, let's do this. I'm gonna change this up a little bit because why is that not formatted? It's weird. I thought I had a JSON auto format. Oops. I'm gonna change this to that way I can do a control tilde to get there and a control shift tilde to toggle it. I like it. Anything I can do to get less Yep, then all your different things can return toggles and main call time instead of having to handle the timing. Well, I think the idea would be in main when we catch this. Let's just comment this out really quick. The idea here would be to do something like OBS cycle. I guess we could call it set source filter or enable source filter timed or something like that, and it could be the same thing where we pass it we could pass it a duration and then it would wait for that period of time, and then that might not be too bad. Let's do that. If we think of a better name, we'll roll with that, but we'll just add timer after. So you're talking about a callback function for after we enable it? Sure, I mean, we could pass in an anonymous function, and in that anonymous function, we could, when it returns, turn it off or something like that, but it just feels like that would still get really busy here. But in theory, we could do that, right? We could enable it and then we could pass back a handle or something and then turn it back off when we're done. But I kind of think if we just did something like this, right? In my case, this is my Heil PR40. And then we could say deep, right, true. And then we could say 1 or 5 times time dot second, right? And then that's what this entire command would look like. So right now it does not wait. After a refactoring we did at the very end, I spun these up into Go routines. I don't know whether I'm going to leave it that way. I probably should, so that these things, every command is processed sequentially rather than in parallel, but processing them in parallel made it a little fun as well. So we can take all of this here, right? And that goes back into here. Okay, and we create a new timer, and this was called enable source filter timer. And then the last thing we're going to pass in is a duration. And then what we can do is wait for this duration. Does that close by itself? Or do we need to close that? We need to stop it. And then in here, oh, we need to change the filter name. That's the filter name. Oh yeah, that's true too. Because now we're not doing this in a Go routine. We can just do a time.sleep if we wanted all of this to run concurrently. So let's pass that in. We don't need this. Enable source filter. Source name, filter name, true. Okay. And what we need to do is this is enabled, and then we're just going to invert it at the end, so we don't really care which thing you're doing. We're going to wait for some specified period of time, and then we're just going to invert whatever that is. Oh, and this is C. Okay. Enabled bool parameter not being used. It is, because what we want to do here is, where's my command processing? So the thought process is here we're passing true, and initially I thought about, like, do we really need that? Is it really always just going to enable then disable? But there may be a particular case where there may be a filter that is already on there that you want to remove. Do you need to handle overlapping commands? Yeah, so that's sort of the question, right? So right now this is in parallel. If we did this, then they are run sequentially, and they both have their appeal, right? So if people keep using the command, then it could prolong the usage of it, right? If they're using them, if you use deep, then robot, I would talk like in a really deep voice for 5 seconds, and then I would talk for like a robot for 5 seconds, which is cool. But stacking is also kind of fun. So here's kind of where I'm experimenting, like, can things stack? I don't really know yet. So before it got really chaotic earlier when I allowed everybody to do it because everything was stacking. And so it's quite possible that we could develop a little DSL where you could say you want deep plus robot or something. So, and then that could be a way to get around if we intentionally want to stack things. So, ooh, wait, why is that? This shouldn't build. If you're building, I'm going to be very confused why. On line 29, missing return. Oh. If I'm going to bail early if we get an error, and then in this case we can just return whatever the result is from the last one. Okay, so that should be good. Let's go ahead and refactor all of our other calls here. Oh, no, we need to fix this first, because really we need this to be OBS, I don't know, client. This is going to be our OBS. We called this controller, didn't we? So we need this to be OBS controller. And let's remove these. Some copy and paste magic. Oh, this should be a capital D. That's the way I have it named. This is robot. Everything lasts for 5 seconds. Let's go ahead and refactor our scene change to all right, C dot client, and okay. Oh, we need our scene name. Oh, we're missing our request. Where's our request? There we go. And all right, so now we need our OBS controller, change scene. All right, do we want to see whether we broke anything with our refactoring? And we should be back to sequential commands now. So, line 54. What am I missing? Oh, we're missing an ending parenthesis here. 56. That's probably because of the other one. And we're reusing error here. So, nope. Undefined OBS new controller because we just called it new, didn't we? We did. New controller. Wrong place. What are we talking about? Have string, want string int. Oops. Oh. The very thing I was just... I saw that bug like 30 minutes ago, and you've been waiting this whole time? Rockerboot just wants me to be embarrassed. Oh, we do need a controller. Oh, I don't even like... That's just a really long variable name. All right. Let's add a disconnect method here. And then we are just going to... it looks like this can return an error too, so let's just pass that along back. We're going to need to write some documentation too. But we'll work on it a little at a time. C is declared and not used on main line 54. Oh, that's our new controller. So wait a second, because we're keeping that all the way at the top, so we want that here. OBS controller. Can assign pointer. Oh. As long as it's informative. Yeah, I go back and forth, and it depends on the length of the function and things like that. If it's a very, very small function, like say something like this, I mean, we can see immediately where it returns. So in a lot of those cases, I like brevity. But yeah, if it's going to be used all over the place, like this OBS controller, the fact that it sits up here at the package level, yeah, I kind of like that that's really long and descriptive. Oh, so we're going to abstract this away. What we may end up needing to do at some point is there's a lot of kind of information that's kind of hidden away here. We may create a config type later that we pass in that kind of has these things, what the send and receive timeout is, host, port, kind of all wrapped up. But for now, we'll do a little refactoring at a time. Okay, well, let's leave Twitch alone for right now, because Twitch is actually not too bad here with this callback approach. Maybe what we should do is move this up into this process command function so that all of that's there. And then our callbacks are sort of like super, super short that we can follow along. Okay. So now what do we want to do? What's next? Let's create a git ignore file too, because we do not want that in there. Okay. So there's a couple things we can do. We can take a vote. How are we looking on time? It's 3 o'clock. We'll go for like another hour. So we can do some more refactoring, I suppose, with that config that we pass in here. We can get our commands working, so we can say go Twitch, I don't know, filter enable deep or something, right? Or yeah, I guess we'd have to, we can do parameters and things like that. We could start on some unit tests. We can look at the OBS library and see what else we can introduce here that we might be able to play with. One thing I do want to do, and we should actually set up before the end of the stream, because I think I really, really want an STFU command, and that's where you just cut off my stream, and we'll make it cost like 1,000,000 points or something. So I think we should implement that. So let's test this change scene thing too first, to make sure that that still runs. All right, so we are connected. Somebody send a scene. It's not going to work if I do it, so somebody else has to. There we go. Perfect. So now we've proven changing scenes. So let me change back. Okay, so if you want to end, you don't need to gamify. So the reason for the gamification side of things and making people spend points is really... Oh, I turned it off. Here. You can send it again. Hit me. So the reason for doing the gamification side of things is
you don't really have control over the economy inside of Twitch itself and the channel points and things like that.
I'd like a way of being able to like reward people with points.
Give them points, things like that. Oh wait, now I need to see what filters are enabled. Did we get trapped? Oh, that's another good...
Yep. Okay, so that's one thing we did. So that's what we just did there is actually something that we should implement first. Let's do that. But so the issue with that is when I close the program, whatever state OBS is in right now, it stays there. So if I exit out of it to turn it off, the filter stays on. So I think that that's actually a good thing we should do is inside here, that is blocking. So right around here, we want to handle signals, disable any filters. Oh, I didn't recognize somebody changed the scene on me. So yeah, so I think this is one of the things we want to do. We want to trap signals so that when it's interrupted, it goes ahead and removes any filters from my voice before it closes. That's going to be a good thing to do. And there was another thing. So we'll do that, and then we'll do the shutting down the stream. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. So there is a package for this. Oh. So we have this signal. Wait. I thought it was in the OS package. We're supposed to get a... notify. It's under OS signal, notify. Should the scene revert back after a set time? Yeah, that's probably another thing we should do too, is go ahead and add the timer method there too. So let's add a to-do here as well. So we need to revert scene back after duration. However, this is going to require us to pull OBS and determine its current scene. So that'll also be something to consider when we are looking at handling this interrupt, is do we want to disable all filters? Do we want to manually specify all of the ones like deep, high pitch, all of those things to disable? Or, I mean, I guess we could also do an array of them and loop over them. Or the other option would be we could also create some sort of declarative state thing where we have another function where we pass it a bunch of stuff and it enables it and it grabs the current state and then resets the state after some period of time. So that is another sort of function we can add here later as we start kind of ironing out what this API should look like. So I guess I want to implement one thing first. Oops. Just because I want to be able to use it at the end of the stream because I think it'll be hilarious. Let's look at this protocol. Oops. Is it not in here? All right. Godoc.org it is. Oh, wait. Because I don't want that one. That's why. We want Christopher DG. Okay. So let's find... we need to find one for stream. Get stream settings. Add stream status. These are events. Save stream settings. Yeah, we don't want to edit my stream settings. Start stop streaming request. That sounds like exactly like we want. All right, so let's do it. We're going to just implement this first. I'm going to comment it out. Remind me at the end of the stream so that we can use it. So we want to... And what was that method called? New start stop stream request. OBS WS. All right, let's look at that. Its properties. Huh? So that's the request. We have send receive. Oh, I guess it's just because it's a toggle. Because it doesn't look like... Right, okay. Yeah, so we don't have a way of saying start or stop. It's just going to do the opposite of whatever it is. Okay. So then that means we just need to do this very same. And we're just going to, I don't really care about what else that returns, and we're going to return back there. Okay. All right, so that all compiles, that works. So let's call it toggle stream. Oh, how crazy is this? It just occurred to me that because this toggle streaming, that if I did not disconnect the bot from the chat, that if somebody was just sitting in the chat and did exclamation point STFU, it would start me streaming again. Oh, Rocker Boo just called out the same thing. All right, so in this case, we should probably do a check. Yes, we do. Always nefarious thinking. All right, to do. Ensure that we are currently streaming. This should only turn it off. So we're gonna implement that because hacker's gonna hack, and I don't want to like mistakenly leave my bot running and then everybody starts turning it on me. Okay, so we need a new command for that, but we're still in prototype phase. So the next thing we need is our case, and then here we're going to OBS controller toggle stream. Oh, especially once you can change camera angles. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's just going to be like checking out my office. I actually might rearrange my office this weekend, and there's like an electronics desk over here too, which will probably end up being in the camera view based on where I want to rotate everything to. All right, I'm going to disable this for now. Just one cam on the 2080 Ti. Put your camera on wheels and we'll drive it around too. Yeah. Taking the camera down my staircase. Okay, so that's disabled so you guys can't mess with it. All right. So now we need to import OS signal. We want to do a signal dot notify, and then this passes a channel, so we need to make sig. We want to make a chan of type OS signal, if I recall. And then we need to go and wait for the signal. Oh wait, we need to tell it which signals we want. Make it learn how to build all drone and then fly off. I have a cool little drone here, but I am not giving you control of it with a camera on it. Wait. Okay, so we need a notify. Where's our notify function? Oh, there's our signals. Okay, so we want sigint. Oh yeah, we want to buffer that thing too. And so, in theory now, we should have, let's just print out here. And so we're going to have to do a couple of things though. Oh, expression in Go must be function. Oh, because we didn't do this. All right. All right, so that's not gonna. All right, so that was silly because I didn't handle that at all. So now we're gonna have to kill it. It must die. And is that gonna break our WebSocket? What am I doing? Did it already die on me? No. What am I missing? Oh, why do I not see the process? Am I gonna have to kill that whole thing? And of course I have like one password on my, on the same hotkey I need to just like completely kill the program. Oh, is this a different? There we go. Wow, that was a pain. All right, note to self, don't do that next time. I have to like uninstall one password so I can get my hotkey back. So what about having the bot control your LED lighting? Yeah, so that is actually another thing that I plan to do. Behind me, you can't really see it, but there's some slight blue there. I need to put a LUT on OBS and you'll be able to see the colors better. I am surrounded by color changing lights in my office, and I'm going to put more in here. And I want to allow everybody, they're all Philips Hue stuff, so they have an API, and I want to allow people to change the colors of that stuff too. All right, so we received our interrupt. So what do we need to do now? So we need to clean up, and then we need to make sure we exit from main. So that creates a problem here, because now that we trapped the signal, we're effectively handling it. So what we're going to have to do now is send this out into a Go routine. And that's going to spin forever out there. And now we need a done channel. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. We'll reverse it. Well, no, because we want it to block till the signal, so we don't want it to be a buffered channel. So now, in theory, we're going to send this client connect thing out there. Let's clean that up. If I suppose we can remove our blocking note here now too. All right. Need the sweet, sweet disco ball. I mean, we can do it. You all keep feeding me ideas. I'll add stuff to my office and give you the ability to remotely control it. All right, so now in theory, we should wait for the signal here and then return. Let's try that really quick. Let's see if I broke something when I killed that, though. Yeah, we've got some weird artifacts here where I think that the program is still running. Cannot reconnect. I'm killing my whole shell. Oh. Error declared and not used on line 56. We use it right here. What you talking about? I'm so confused right now. Line 56, we declare error, and error is used right there. But that's going to blow up. What are you talking about? Oh, is this not saved? I don't think it's saved. Undefined error. Okay. That was... What on earth are you talking about? You are used. Oh, because we never actually do anything with it. That's our issue. It's going crazy there for a second. We assign it, but we never actually use it after we assign it. So we're just gonna... What about image filters? Yeah, so that's other stuff too. We can do image filters. We can change scenes. I might even be able to do transitions or rotate the screen, things like that. Can we make pull requests? Absolutely. Pull requests will be encouraged. So right now I'm just trying to get like the rough start of how all of this will work, and I will push it to GitHub, and pull requests are welcome if you want to send me funny stuff, sounds, or images. I'm game. We'll put it in. Okay, so we've caught our signal. Ooh. What's happening there? So, probably because this client connect is still running out there. All right, so there's a couple things we want to do here, right? We want our OBS controller, and we want to enable our source filter. Right now, we're going to need to find a better way of doing this because this is all like hard coded in one place. So what I think we need to do, and we want that off. Okay, so in theory now, when we close this out, it should, in theory, turn this stuff off. Device stuff would make sense as an environment variable. Yeah, so, excuse me. The other thought here is that the same person who created the Cobra package that we're going to be using for those individual commands also created, not Cobra. Why can't I think of the name of it? I'm drawing a blank here. Viper. It's like, it's another snake name. And I can't type. Okay, so Viper is a really cool library that allows us to get configuration for things, and we can set defaults. We can use config files like YAML or TOML and things like that, but it also allows us to override them with environment variables, and so we can combine all of this stuff even with flags inside of Cobra. And so this is sort of what I'm thinking is that we'd potentially have some sort of configuration file for your bot config that would say, this is the name of my source, this is the name of, you know, the filter, and things like that. So I suppose that's another way that we could populate these things too, right? So maybe OBS is a library with functionality, but maybe we use the config file to offer up what the individual commands are. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that might actually work. So if we looked at like a YAML file, let's just, I don't know. Let's just open up Vim here. And think out loud. So we could have commands and high pitch would look something like, I don't know what we call this, OBS or something. If it progresses, you can then make a web interface that simply updates the YAML file. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that this would make the most sense too, because then we could tell it it's the OBS plugin, and the method that we want to call is, you know, toggle source filter, and then we could say the parameters, right? And we could pass in a config like this, right? So we could say it's the Heil PR40, and we want to enable the high pitch filter on it, and we want that to be true. And then we could keep adding things to this. This will allow you to encrypt OAuth codes and read them in. So right now I actually have this. I have my credentials in an environment variable that's being fed in. So, but if you wanted to encrypt it, you could. What are your thoughts here? Is it mechanic? How do you pronounce your name? I want to make sure, like, that's the hardest thing, is I always want to call people by their name correctly. So yeah, so we could encrypt the file, and when you run the bot, ask for a password, and that password could be used as the symmetric key to run it. We could also require your private key. Okay, McCann. Okay, we'll just call you McCann then. So, all right. Yeah, but yeah, we could totally do that as well. Let's see. Where did we leave off? I think I like this. I want to think a little bit more about what this YAML file would look like. But I think that this solves a lot of our problems from like having to modify the bot every time we do something, right? Like if I go into OBS and I just start playing with the VST plugin and come up with a new filter, I don't really want to have to go in and modify the code to the bot. So I think the other thing that we could do when we get into the economy side of things is cost, right? How much does it cost to run? And the only reason for this expense thing, when we talk about points or money, is this is not actually a financial thing. This will be some sort of reward that's just given out. Like if you're in Begin's channel, like the prop sort of thing where people give each other points for helping out. It'll be something along those lines. And the only reason for its existence is to minimize abuse, right? If I introduce all of these methods into the channel and everybody can change my voice and apply effects to me and all of this stuff, then it could get really annoying really quickly. So the cost of it is really just to kind of minimize abuse. Oh, I just had another fun idea. To be able to build an editor extension where people could just send commands at the editor. It'd be kind of cool to allow people to submit requests through a website or something that you could then approve. What kind of requests? All right, so we have our signal handling, although it doesn't feel like it ends very cleanly. Let's try this. So say when they set a background change, they could set the parameters, upload the background. Oh yeah, that'd be true. I mean, that's where it gets a little sketchy, probably from a security perspective, to allow you to upload a media file of some sort, and then the bot download it on my local machine to be able to do it. I suppose we could explore that. All right, I need somebody to send a voice filter, and then we are going to exit out of it and see what
It removes the filter from my voice.
All right, hit me. So it does not look like deep was applied.
Is it on? Okay, it's on. So I'm gonna
But now, and it shut it off. Okay, so that works. So we do have this weird issue here, though, of a use of a closed network channel, though. So we're gonna have to figure that out. It had robot on. Yeah, so now this will turn it off. Oh, I said so that works in robot mode. Okay, yeah. But now, so now we have it turning off of the, it turning off these effects. So, okay, how much time we got? We got about a half an hour. So let's take a show of hands. Do we want to start working on this sort of this YAML declaration of the robot commands, or do we want to? I guess we probably don't have much time to get very far. I assume the error is Twitch sending you data while you have blocked the connection. So I think the issue really is that we waited for this signal and then the program executes. Well, no, because the issue really came. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we run. Well, that's in a defer statement. So we're deferring this disconnect till the end. And I have the feeling that's where the error is happening. Let's remove that and see what happens. Yeah, so it's really in this where we try to cleanly disconnect. Interesting. I'm just thinking for a second. So before we were blocking on connect the entire time. And then we caught the interrupt. And I'm guessing it never ran the defer before. And so now it has something to do with this being called. Likely, well, other things are still reading and writing to the socket. It could just be the way this library works doesn't gracefully shut down very well. And we can probably come up with another way around it. But for now, I'm fine with a few errors as we exit out. Okay, so let's work on this scene one. So we should be able to easily do that. Where's our get scene? That's scene item properties. Wait, what's this one called? It's called set current scene. Is there a get current scene? Switch scenes event. Okay. Get current scene collection. We don't really. Okay, this is what we want. So let's get the current scene. So what we should do is follow the same line of thinking here. Is change scene. I feel like there's a better name that we could use here for timed. I don't know. For now, we'll use it. We'll change it later if we need to. Okay, so in this particular case, we need to go to the WebSocket and we need to create a request. And then we're going to send and receive this request. All right, what are you complaining about? Oh, it's not used. Okay, so if there's an error, we'll return. If not, we want to look at the response and what's on that. You're not going to tell me. Of course you're not going to tell me. Okay, so send and receive. Oh, okay, so we don't really care about the sources that are on there. We just care about the name. So we're just going to current scene is response.name. I would probably make something that takes 2 functions and a duration to do stuff over a period of time. Undeclared name. What? Get current scene response. Oh, wait. Oh, because we're shadowing here, so we'd need to either push this down if error not equal to nil, and okay, then we return current scene. Now we're going to change the scene to our scene. We're going to time.sleep for duration. And then we're going to change the scene back to the current scene. Do start, stop, 10. Oh, functional stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean. Okay. So, missing return and end of function. Oh, let's return that. We should actually check for the error here. We don't need to worry about switching back if there was an error changing. All right, let's try it. Who wants to try hitting the scene change and see whether it changes? And then, oh wait, we didn't call that one. Ooh, what is all that? We need to fix that.
Where's the scene change?
Up here. Change scene. We need timed. And we want 5 times. Okay. All right, let's try it. I see you, Rocker Boo. All right, so we switched over to this camera. Let's see whether we change back. Sweet. So that works. I guess we didn't get around to moving the stuff over. Because the other thing we wanted to do is start pushing stuff up here into this command. I make this all look so easy. The Go part or the controlling of OBS? Okay, so oh, the Go part looking better than begin. Well, I hope so. I've been doing this for 9 years now or something. I've been doing programming Go. I mean, the past year or so I've been on and off with writing Go, but I probably write some slightly ugly code right now. I've been doing a lot of infrastructure stuff for the last couple of years, so not as much of like hardcore development, but it's fun getting back into it. All right, so, oh, that was the other thing we wanted to do is we wanted to see that we are currently streaming. We got time for that. What was the name of the function that we just called? Toggle stream. Where is our list? I want to see. Can we get stream? How do we see? That's the settings. It's got to be a get stream call. Let's look at the protocol because that looked a little cleaner. So if we can find that here, it'll be easier to find in the code. So this is events. We don't really care about that. I mean, we could listen for an event, but that's not really what we want. We want stream status. We don't need this. We don't need Viper for right now. We're not going to get that today. Stream status. That's the event. Don't care about the event. All right, so that's not what we're looking for because we don't want the event. We want to be able to poll and ask it for the status. Wait, is this still events? That's still events. We need requests. General, get auth, get stats. That'd be kind of fun to start prodding in there and asking about stats. Here we could get it to play music, toggle mute. I guess, so really I think STFU should be mute. I think it should be. And then, I don't know. we need a different one for ending the stream. Get audio monitor type, list outputs, start output. So that's getting the recording status, scene items, streaming, get streaming status. And of course it's like the obvious thing. So we're gonna do that. We're just going to reuse this. New get streaming status request. All right, and nothing on it. Okay, so we just need to send and receive that then. That's what it appears like. We want to look in here though. And then if there's an error, we're going to return because we do not want to do anything with the stream if we can't even figure out its current state. Then let's look at status. What's on status? Streaming. Is that a bool? It's a bool. Okay. So if we are not currently streaming, we are returning. And then the hackers cry. Okay. What are we doing? Why are you yelling at me? Oh. Because it already exists. Oh. Let's and error already exists, so we don't need to do that. Okay. So in theory, that one should work. We're not going to test it until we are ready to call it quits. This is going to drive me nuts. Where are we using this closed connection? That's what I want to know. It wasn't when we added these. So it's something to do with that cleanup code. I think that their disconnect code probably is just not clean. We're just going to go with that. So maybe we'll go find this in their library and try to fix it at some point. Or write our own. Okay, so that's in there. That to do can go away. I have the filters turned on right now, so your deep isn't going to work. All right. It's not on. It's not on. Oh, wait. It's still running. So we must have it running somewhere still. The bot is running somewhere. Where? This is weird. So where on earth is this bot running? I don't see it running here. I'm gonna kill all of the. I'm gonna kill all the shells. So what else do we have? One of these is running it. Oh, we're gonna need to reload this. Kill that. All right. I think we fixed it. What are you doing? All right, let's exit that. We broke it. Okay. All right, somebody send the command. Is it working? All right, somebody send
Me an audio filter. Let's see whether
not. This is working. So it's still working. Where on earth is this thing running? This is crazy. All right. Okay. Forever stream. All right. So we're going to go this route. You want to play rough Windows? Here we go. Oh wait, is it? It's minus. All right, so we just killed WSL completely. It's dead. Now, okay, now let's try it. Somebody send a command. If this still works, I'm gonna die. Did it apply the filter? I don't see any filters. All right, so we should be safe now. Now let's exit. Still breaks. Yeah, so something's up with that network connectivity. What time are we looking at? We are just a couple minutes away from ending, so here's what we're gonna do. Is everybody ready for this? Somebody give me a Wikipedia page to read, and then I'm gonna let everybody attack changing the filters, and I am also going to enable the I'm also going to enable our new STFU so that you all can, well, I'll let you play with the Wikipedia page first, and then I'll enable this and I'll run it. That way I at least get a chance to say bye. What am I reading? Can we also have a part of this bot that enables us to enter a 0 width space while you're live coding? I'm not sure what you mean, Aaron. A 0 width space? Okay, so I think um I think this will probably. Oh, an invisible character. I got you now. Yeah, so that was another idea too, is to do a an editor extension where you could send commands. That, or well, let's go with an editor extension. I was going to say that or actually send keystrokes to my computer, but that one feels a little bit more risky, especially knowing we have some of you schemers in here that were already thinking of ways to abuse the stream ending thing. The Arch installation guide. All right. I mean, that's going to be a little harder to read. How about this one? We'll read this because it's a lot more words than describing code. All right, everybody, start with your sound effects, and off we go. Arch Linux is an independently developed x86-64
general purpose GNU Linux distribution that strives to provide
latest stable versions of most software by following a rolling release model. The default installation is a minimal-based system configured by the user to only add what is purposely required.
Principles: simplicity. Arch Linux defines simplicity
without unnecessary additions or modifications. It ships software
released by the original developers upstream with minimal distribution
specific downstream changes. Patches not accepted by upstream are avoided, and Arch's downstream
patches consist almost entirely of backported bug fixes that are obsoleted
by the project's next release.
That's too much fun. All right, so it's about 4 o'clock here. I got a couple of other things I need to wrap up before I call it a day. But I think we made some good progress on refactoring this. I think there's still more to be done. I think maybe next time, maybe we can start working on some of the using the Cobra toolkit so that we can start having command line things we can run. And then we can start working on maybe that YAML definition file. So with that, thanks everybody for hanging out. I'm gonna let you all end it. So I'm gonna enable this. Thanks for the follow, Jade. Okay, so whoa, what happened here? All right, so I'm gonna let all of you choose when to end it. I'm going to enable this, and I guess the first person who gives me an STFU, we go offline. Thanks, Rocker Boo. I don't know whether I'll be on tomorrow. I'm going to try and be on Wednesday, though. I may be on tomorrow. We'll see. And now the power is in your hands to end it whenever you feel the need. Whenever you're like, Eric, I am tired of hearing your voice, STFU. That's not the right command. Just let me ramble forever. Oh, yeah, you would do it. I'm surprised you all have the power in your hands and everybody's like able to ignore the urge. Moments of awkward silence. So I have a colleague who giving a talk one time, he asked a question of the audience. Nobody was answering. And he's like, I used to be a high school science teacher, so remember, awkward silence is only awkward for you. Oh, I forgot that all of the sound effects were on. But yeah, I think that's funny. And you're all saying awkward silence. But remember,
you can hear me talk. I can't hear you talk, so this entire stream has been
an awkward silence for me. A couple more minutes isn't going to hurt anything. So also, like, find me on Twitter or whisper me here if you have ideas for other types of things we can have this do. Yeah, all of the commands should be working. Aside from one, there is one we have not tested yet. So, okay, so we've changed the scene. Who's going to do it? Who's going to give me the STFU? You win all of the points. Wait, why are you going to get banned? I'm asking you to do it. The stream has ended. You now get to turn it off.
And we're just going to keep going forever.
Oh, I get you. All right. So auto mod. It just gives me the option. All right. So let's change it to something else. How about that? Now we've got a better one. Okay, thanks, bye. And then to turn it on, it should be ICANN has stream. No, you don't know the cheeseburger? ICANN has cheeseburger? Did it work? Nope, we're still live. So this is from ICANN has cheeseburger. There's all these memes for the cheeseburger, the lolcats, the ICANN has cheeseburger. And somebody created a whole language, an actual programming language based on this. And K thanks bye was how you ended something. So what are we missing here? Oh, I know what it is. We never added it here. It's being ignored. Okay, thanks, bye. Now it'll work. Thanks everybody so much. Looking forward to next time. I'm going to try tomorrow if I can. If not, then it'll be Wednesday.